My name is Harrison Caine, and I have been lying to the Sterling family for 20 years. It started small, a tweak here, an omission there, a signature that looked just close enough to the real thing to pass inspection. I was young then, hungry, desperate to prove myself to the titans who controlled the world I had just entered. I didn't set out to become the architect of a dynasty's destruction. I set out to survive. But survival, I learned, is a slippery slope. Each lie built on the last, each deception required a dozen more to sustain it, and before I knew it, I had become something I never intended to be, the keeper of every family secret, the weaver of every family lie, the silent hand that guided the Sterling legacy toward its inevitable collapse. I was the trusted attorney, the silver-haired confidant, the man who had baptized their children and buried their dead. I was also the man who had rewritten their wills, forged their signatures, and manipulated their inheritances for 2 decades. They trusted me because I had earned their trust. I had earned it by being invisible, by being indispensable, by being the one person who never asked for anything. But I had asked for everything. I had asked for the one thing that money could not buy: control. I controlled their destinies from the shadows, and they never knew it, until now. The first will I rewrote was Julian Sterling's. He was the patriarch, the titan, the man who had built an empire from nothing. He was also a monster, a man who had destroyed countless lives with his greed and cruelty. He had come to me with a request to disinherit his eldest son, Marcus, who had dared to challenge his authority. "Cut him out," Julian said. "Leave him nothing. Let him rot." I did as he asked, but I also added a clause that he had not requested, a clause that gave me a small percentage of the estate, a clause that would ensure that I would never be forgotten. It was a small act of rebellion, a tiny crack in the facade of my loyalty, but it was the beginning of everything that followed. Over the years, I rewrote dozens of wills, each one a little more audacious, a little more self-serving, a little more destructive. I changed the beneficiaries, I altered the percentages, I inserted clauses that gave me power, influence, and a quiet, secret share of the fortune. I did it because I could. I did it because no one was watching. I did it because I had convinced myself that I was the only one who could be trusted. But the truth, I had learned, is a weapon, and I was the only one who knew how to wield it. The family never suspected me. Why would they? I was the loyal servant, the faithful executor, the man who had stood by them through every crisis, every scandal, every tragedy. I was the one who had held their hands as they died, the one who had comforted their widows, the one who had guided their children through the labyrinth of their inheritance. I was also the one who had planted the seeds of their destruction. The lies I told were not just about money. They were about identity, about legacy, about the very fabric of their existence. I told Marcus that his father had never loved him. I told Eleanor that her brother was plotting against her. I told Julian that his siblings were planning to cut him out. I sowed discord, fueled paranoia, and watched as the family tore itself apart. It was a masterpiece of manipulation, a symphony of deceit that I conducted from the shadows, and I enjoyed every moment of it. But the lies caught up with me. They always do. The catalyst was a letter that I had written years ago, a letter that I had thought was destroyed. The letter was a confession,
a confession of everything I had done, a confession of every lie I had told, a confession that I had buried in the walls of the Sterling mansion, hoping that it would never be found. But it was found, by Alexander Sterling, the youngest son, the one I had always underestimated. Alexander had been the invisible one, the forgotten one, the one who had been overlooked by everyone. But he had a sharp mind and a relentless curiosity. He had found the letter, read it, and understood the full scope of my betrayal. He confronted me in my office, the letter in his hand, his eyes blazing with fury. "You destroyed my family," he said. "You destroyed my life. You destroyed everything." I didn't deny it. I couldn't. The evidence was too damning, the truth too clear. I looked at him, the son of the man I had served for decades, and I felt a strange, unfamiliar emotion. Guilt. I did what I had to do. "What do you mean?" Alexander demanded. I took a deep breath. I had been carrying the secret for so long that it had become part of me. It was time to let it go. "I didn't write those wills for myself," I said. "I wrote them for someone else, someone who had been watching this family for decades, someone who had been waiting for the right moment to strike, someone who had been pulling the strings from the beginning." Alexander's eyes widened. "Who?" I looked at him, and I felt the weight of the truth pressing down on me. "Your grandfather," I said, "Victor Sterling. He's not dead. He's been alive all along, and he's the one giving me my instructions." The revelation hit Alexander like a physical blow. His grandfather, the patriarch who had supposedly died decades ago, was alive. He had been living in secret, orchestrating the destruction of his own family, using me as his instrument. "Why?" Alexander asked. "Why would he do this?" I shook my head. Because he saw what his children had become. He saw the greed, the cruelty, the corruption. He wanted to tear it all down. He wanted to start over, and he used me to do it. I told Alexander everything about the letters, the instructions, the secret meetings. I told him about the hidden accounts, the secret facilities, the network of informants that his grandfather had cultivated over decades. I told him that the revenge had never been mine. It had always been Victor's. I was just the messenger. "You're a monster," Alexander said. "I'm just a tool that was used by a bigger monster." Alexander walked away that day, his mind reeling with the implications of what I had told him. I knew that he would investigate. I knew that he would find the truth, and I knew that the truth would destroy everything I had built. But I didn't care. The guilt had been consuming me for so long that I had become numb to it. I welcomed the destruction. I welcomed the release. Alexander spent the next year investigating his grandfather's legacy. He traveled to the corners of the world, following the trail of clues that I had left for him. He found the hidden accounts, the secret facilities, the network of informants. He found the man himself, Victor Sterling, alive and well, living in a secluded estate in the mountains of Switzerland. Alexander confronted his grandfather, and the confrontation was brutal. Victor didn't deny anything. He looked at his grandson with cold, calculating eyes and said, "I did what I had to do. Your father was a monster. Your siblings were monsters. I had to destroy them to save the family." "You didn't save anything," Alexander said. You destroyed everything. You destroyed the family. You destroyed the legacy. You destroyed the future." Victor smiled. "I didn't destroy the future. I created it. You are the future, Alexander. You are the one who will rebuild the sterling legacy. You are the one who will make it right." Alexander was torn. He had spent his entire life hating his grandfather, hating the legacy, hating the family. But now he was being offered a chance to rebuild, a chance to create something new, a chance to break the cycle. I watched from the shadows as Alexander made his decision. He would not rebuild the empire. He would not continue the legacy. He would walk away. He would let the past die. He would build a new life, a life that was entirely his own. Victor was furious. "You're throwing away everything I built," he said. "Everything I sacrificed." "You didn't sacrifice anything," Alexander replied. "You destroyed everything, and I won't let you destroy me." Alexander walked away, leaving his grandfather in the silence of his estate. He never looked back. The aftermath was chaotic. The empire was dismantled. The fortune was scattered. The family was shattered. But Alexander had found a peace that had eluded him for so long. I too found a strange kind of peace. I had spent my life serving the lies of the Sterlings. I had been their tool, their weapon, their architect of destruction. But now the truth was finally out. The lies were finally exposed. I could finally be free. I retired to a small town in Vermont, far from the shadows of the Sterling legacy. I lived a quiet life, surrounded by the silence that I had craved for so long. I never spoke of the Sterlings again. I never spoke of the lies, the wills, or the revenge. I let the past fade into the shadows, where it belonged. Years later, I received a letter from Alexander. It was brief, barely a paragraph. "Harrison, if you're reading this, you've already done what I could never do. You've broken the cycle. You've told the truth. I am proud of you, not because you destroyed the family, because you saved yourself. I was wrong to hate you. I was wrong to blame you. You were just a tool, and now you're free." I read the letter 100 times, each time feeling the weight of his words. He had forgiven me, not because I deserved it, because he deserved peace. And in forgiving me, he had finally found the peace that had eluded him for so long. I died in my sleep, at the age of 87, surrounded by the silence of the town I had come to love. The lies were gone. The wills were destroyed. The secrets were buried. But the lesson remained, that revenge is a prison, and the only way to escape is to forgive. The lawyer who wrote every family lie had finally told the truth, and in telling it, he had found the freedom that had always been within his reach. The story of Harrison Caine became a cautionary tale, a legend about the cost of secrets and the power of redemption. But for me, it was something simpler, a beginning I had never thought I deserved, and a future I would build with my own hands, one truth at a time. The empire was gone, the fortune was gone, the family was gone, but I was still here. And that, in the end, was the most powerful revenge of all. I was free, truly, completely, utterly free.